Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom, class, shalom. Shabbat shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahushua. A hearty mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect. Say shalom to the men. Shalom to the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting filled up in the spirit. They're praying. They're fasting. They're studying. They're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous and diligent, moving in the spirit of our righteous forefathers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to everybody tuning in live. Ashar Kadash, Yerah, to everybody tuning in live. Welcome to the 6th month of Yahweh Shemashah. Another month, an opportunity to come out of darkness, build yourself up to increase into perfection, and like put yourself forward.
Shabbat shalom, all praise to the Most High for this new moon, and the Most High has allowed us to see. As we always do, we're going to go to Acts chapter 18, verse 24.
So Acts 18 verse 4. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
Right, another Sabbath service to persuade Israel, who knows that the Israel can continue with the faith and charity, the brotherly love, right? All things to magnify the name of Yahweh Shemashah these last days. And to those just finding out that the Israel to compel them to be at the church of Berea, right? To search the scriptures daily and diligently to see if the word that was spoken to you and true or not. Right, it's a lot of false prophets, soothsayers, men sent forth to deter the truth, and it's our job to be that strong defense when Yahweh Shemashah to give back the works of evil through righteousness using the precepts. And the only way we can do that is through Philippians 4:13.
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things in myself, which strengthens me.
Right, so through the spirit of Yahweh Shemashah, we're able to cast down false doctrine, stand 10 toes down for the doctrine we learned, and not be tossed to and fro like a wave of the sea, and be fervent in these last days.
Shalom, shalom, all Israel, shalom to everybody reading, praying, fasting, magnifying the Most High. His beloved say Yahushua. Most High willing everybody is in the spirit in the last days, doing everything they can do to push this word. Let's go to the mighty book of Acts, chapter 17, and verse number 2.
Look at Acts, chapter 17, verse 2. And Paul asked his brother was, went in unto and 37 days, reason with them out of the scriptures.
Right, reason with them out of the scriptures. Right, so if you're at home on the Sabbath day, most definitely be going over these scriptures, going over these accounts and these breakdowns, staying firm in the spirit. You know,
opening and 11, that Hamashiach must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this shall show whom I preach unto you is Hamashiach.
Right, that's what we're sent to do, to uplift and magnify Yahweh Shemashah.
Very calm, right? As always, giving all honor what's our knowledge. How you know Yahweh, I should march up, like that shirt, right? Shalom to all the occupants, the Akwa, the Banyan, right? The brothers and sisters, children. Shalom to all the Mashapaka family far and near, right? Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 15, and verse number 19.
This is the mighty book of Acts, chapter 15, and verse number 19. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to God, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. For Moses of old time, having every city, lived that preaching, he read in the synagogues every Sabbath day.
What?
Every Sabbath day.
Right, God, right? First of all, that's all the brothers and sisters, right, tuning in, right, into the love for all the brothers and sisters in this classroom. We turned away from the ways of the Gentiles. We turned away from the ways and things that we once did in the world, coming back and serving the Most High God in these latter days, man. Abstaining from all things produced of idols, ungodly things, and customs, right, that we once did, right, and as well as reading and preaching the word of God every Saturday. Let's go.
Again, we're going to the 6th month of the year, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashar. And the name of the lesson is incompletion and destruction, right? The number 6 means incompletion, right? And it also means destruction, right? And we often speak about the destruction coming to America, World War III, Armageddon, all hell breaking loose, Jacob's trouble. We also want destroying is also righteous, man. Right? Our fathers destroyed altars, they destroyed groves, right? They destroyed and cast down things that are opposed to Most High. And we have to work on destroying the old man. So we're going to go into destroy the old man, examine ourselves, things that are incomplete, things that are lacking, and to build those things up. God, let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13 above. Right? Get the class, 2 Corinthians, chapter 13, and verse number 5.
2 Corinthians, chapter 13, and verse number 5. Examine yourself.
The Lord say,
Examine yourself.
examine yourself,
Whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahweh is in you, except ye be reprobates.
right? You have to examine yourself, man. A lot of brothers wait too late to examine themselves till they get to the point where brothers have to examine them and see and pull out all of their shortcomings and faults. A lot of those things can be mitigated if brothers have properly examine themselves. If you were to look at yourself as a priority and focus on the things that you struggle with, things that you gotta be real with yourself. A lot of brothers, man, they're not real with themselves. A lot of brothers that play sports, man, you're telling yourself that I can still play, I can still, brother, you can't do it no more, brother. You can't do a front flip no more, brother. You're not 16, don't do a backflip on an old brother. Off the steps, you're 43 now, brother. Hey, be real with yourself, man. There are certain things that you have to accept that your body just can't do anymore. Your mind might be able to do it, but your body can't do it anymore. Likewise, in the spirit, there are things that you're struggling with that you have to be honest with yourself about, right? You have to be real and say, look, man, I'm struggling with lust, right? Every time I'm on social media, I go to this page, I go to that page, I'm just going off. I haven't been reading like I used to, right? I haven't been studying like I used to. So brothers have to examine themselves. Before you destroy and break down anything, you have to destroy it as we broke it down. Go to Psalms 26 and 2. And if you don't do that, the Lord said you'll be a reprobate, right? You'll be void of judgment. Brothers, I'm not sure brothers ain't here. Brothers did demolition, construction. Right? You did that? Oh, you did demolition, bro. Can you just press the big red button and just break down anything? No, right? There's a process, right? You have to examine. If you break down too much, the whole building will collapse, bro. So piece by piece. You have to examine the demolition and refractory work. Because I used to have to do it, right? We had to build something up, and if something was short, they had to break the whole thing down and start all over from scratch, That is hell, right? You had the job was supposed to be 3 days, it turned to 8 days, 10 days, you know? So when you're doing demolition thing yourself, you have to examine what things you have to break down, right? And what things and what tools you need to break things down, right? When you restart your electrician work, you don't use the same tools you do when you break it down your damn concrete, So you have to know what tools to use too when you're examining it. So what precepts do you need? What books do you need? What brother do you need to talk to, right? For Psalms 26 and 2. Start.
Psalm chapter 26 and verse 1. Judge me, O Lord.
The Lord said,
Judge me, O Lord.
it's heavy, man. How many brothers ever said that? Judge me, how That's bold. That's bold, right? Judge me, O Lord. Go on.
For I have walked in my integrity.
I have walked in my integrity. That's a lot of faith right there. Go on.
I have trusted also in the Lord. Therefore, I shall not slumber.
I'm not going to slip. Read on.
Examine me, O Lord.
The Lord said,
Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart.
read.
For thy loving kindness is before my honor, and I have walked in thy truth.
How many brothers can say that, man? Judge me, Lord. I'm on fire. Test me. Prove. Put me to the test right now. So that's heavy right there, huh? So David was in the spirit, right? That's having confidence in the Most High, right? That's your conscience not condemning you. Knowing that you're striving for perfection. Now he said, examine me, O Lord, and prove me, right? That's like you going to a physician, you go to a doctor, right? You ask him, you do a physical, you get a checkup, right? You don't go to the doctor to tell the doctor what they need to work on. I need you to step on the scale. I need you to know, huh? Yeah, put your arm in that blood pressure thing. No, it's their job to examine you, right? Because even if you examine yourself, you may not see everything, right? You don't have an X-ray. You may not have you don't know what your blood pressure is, what your health, right? You don't know if you have a fracture in your bones or not. There are certain people that are more qualified, and they have the mind and the technology to see things that you may not see. Likewise with the Most High. So yeah, you're examining yourself, but you're also asking the Most High to examine you, to bring things to your remembrance that you can work on, or things that need to be broken down. Right? So there's always something that you might think is stable, but the Most High, he can kind of see that that pillar ready to crack. And you see the cracks in that pillar. You can't see the foundation underneath your house, huh? A lot of people's basement be getting all flooded and all stuff going on and crowd work, and they can't see that stuff, huh? The Most High can see that. So brothers have to ask the Most High to also examine them to see what things they have inside of them have to be broken down. Come, and in this month of the destruction and incompletion, look at the things that are incomplete and fix those things, and the things that have to be destroyed, target those things and destroy them with no mercy.
Let's go to 2, verse number 10. Right? Like the brother said, you have to examine. If you're not examining yourself, you're lying to yourself. And no man can trust a man who lies to himself. Right? What good can you do to the people around you? Right? You know, we all have those moments of denial. You know, we be like, man, you know, we start getting a little tight. But you don't want to say you're getting fat. Right? When you say it, I don't know, we talked about it earlier. You know, I'm not really an alcoholic, but you drink every day. You drink 2 fish every day, right? So you have to examine yourself, because there's no cut card with the Lord. It's either you're one way or you're another way, right? Either you're righteous or you're wicked. It's no in between, right? That's lukewarm. What the Lord says He's going to do if you're lukewarm, He's going to spew you out of love, right? So you have to examine and look, because if you're not on the side of righteousness, you're a real beast on the side of the Lord. And that's just how it is, right? Let's bring that out, okay?
But the Jew to the 1 verse 10. But these speak evil of those things, which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts.
Right, so when you're not being honest with yourself and using the precepts and examining yourself, right, you're doing the opposite of what the Lord commanded you to do. So you're doing what's natural, you're doing what's sensual, right? It's carnal. In your nature being a brute beast. You're no different than a pit bull, man. You're no different than a camel, right? Being a brute beast.
As beasts, and those things that corrupt themselves.
They do what?
They corrupt themselves.
So you corrupt yourself, and you're not taking the time to examine, taking the time to correct, taking the time to apply action plans through the precepts to better yourself. Right? If you're not doing that, you're going in the ways of the wicked men that we read about in the Bible. And the Lord will outright reject you in the sight of Israel. Right? We see that happen over and over and over. Right? Even in our lifetime. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6. You can start at verse 25. Right? The Lord will reject you in the congregation of Israel, man. Have you looking like an embarrassment? Having people then throwing up mentioning your name, man. Right? Because you haven't taken the time to grow in the spirit. You haven't taken the time to water that flower that the Most High put inside your spirit, man. Right? Once that seed is planted, whether it be through the YouTube channels, the highways, the byways, you read it yourself, you have to continually water that spirit, man. You have to continually water that seed so it continually grow in these last days. Where you can't be that withered, dry, into the season crop, man. You have to always be, the late spring when the crops are blooming. You gotta always be blooming in the spirit, right? And bloom, and I don't want to say the blooming comes from uncomfortability, right? It's uncomfortable for those seedlings to get from under the ground. So it's gotta be uncomfortable to grow. It has to be uncomfortable for diamonds to be made with pressure and applied. Right? Bring that up, kids.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 25. Go not forth into the field, nor walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy and fear is on every side. Right? O Lord of my people, gird thee with sackcloth and water thyself in ashes, make thee mourning as for a moon's sun. Most bitter lamentation for the spoilers shall suddenly come upon us. Right? I have set thee for a tower and a fortress among my people, that thou mayest know and try their way.
So the Lord has set up the men of Yahweh Shai as a tower for his people, right? A strong defense, so that the people may know the way which to go, right? The brother Malachi put in the chat, the marching that we did 3 or 4 Pentecosts ago, right? How people was watching, it was like 20,000 people, right? We're set up to be an example to the nation. We're set up to teach our people how to go the way that they should go, right? Keep on.
They are all grievous revolters, walking with slanderers. They are grasping iron. They are all corrupters.
So our people are just outright wicked, man. Right? They're outright wicked. They're slanderers, they're boasters, and that spirit isn't coming to you like it can't hop on you. Right? There's countless men who have fell out the truth who we would have never thought would fall out the truth. That same spirit can come and hop on you in an instant. Right? Keep on, Jim.
Their bellows are burned, the lead is consumed of the fire. The founder melted in vain, for the wicked are not put away.
Right? Here's the key point.
Reprobate silver show men called them.
So they what we call reprobate silver. Right? Nobody wants reprobate silver, man. You want the finest gold, you want the finest carbuncle, right? The finest rubies. Right? But the Lord said he'll call them reprobate silver
Because the Lord rejected them.
So the Lord is going to reject those who don't bend their ways to follow after him. Right? Turn that stony heart into a heart of flesh and receive correction and instruction in the way of life. What you got?
That's right. Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 7 and verse 57. 2nd Esdras, chapter 7 and verse number 57.
2nd Esdras, chapter 7 and verse number 57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the matter.
This is what?
This is the condition of the matter.
So, I mean, sometimes, brothers always want the way out, or they get a way out sometimes, huh? Right? He besought the Lord thrice, yet the grace was sufficient enough for him. You're not always going to get out of all your situations. Not always going to be able to escape. Sometimes you got to go to war. A lot of people, they want to flee. They want to lean over to refuge all the time, get help, escape. Sometimes you got to confront your problems, man. And especially these spirits. These spirits are going to chase you to the day of the Lord unless you confront them, man, and break them down and go to battle and go to war. Right, read on?
This is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
Right, you got certain children and cut the lights out, they scared, they watch a scary movie, don't say this word because it was in a scary movie. Sometimes the greatest way to overcome your fears is to face them. You got to face those things. A lot of people have beat people up as a child, then they confront their old high school bully. They confront somebody in their family that is unjustly touched them, bro. Or they have done things to get over these fears, these traumas, and these spirits, these things that have psychological pain and torment over you. And you got to do the same with these spirits, right, Lord?
That if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as I have said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say.
And this whole walk is really about going to war, man. You have to go to war with the flesh, go to war with your mind, go to war with our enemies. We're set up in battle array to be soldiers of Yahweh. We have to embrace being a soldier, embrace going to war, man. Go to the book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse number 3. Sirach, chapter 14 and verse number 3.
Sirach, chapter 14 and verse number 3. Riches are not good for a nigger.
Right. I mean, this is physical, but it's also spiritual. You look at the prodigal son. He had riches. He had knowledge. He was with his father. But then he took all of that for granted, huh? Riches in this truth is not comely for a fool. Somebody that eats it and doesn't appreciate it. Right, you know?
And what should an envious man do with money?
Right?
He that gathereth by the fraud his own soul, gather from others, that shall spend his goods righteously.
Is spending his goods righteously, huh? And when you look at the prodigal son again, right, he took for granted what he had. He went in the world, then he got overthrown, sent to eat swine's flesh, become a citizen of that country. You get overthrown, nobody loves you, nobody appreciates you. You have to go through the spirit of where the Lord has formed you and planted you in the garden, man. Right, Lord?
He that is evil to himself,
He that is evil to himself,
to whom will he be good?
you got to ask yourself, bro, before you can give alms, before you can be set up to help the church, before you can do anything, the Lord said, let them show piety first at home. And you go to the book of Timothy, bro. So it all starts at home. It all starts through the spirit. It all starts with you. You can only help your wife and teach your children as much as you know. You have to build yourself up. Read that again.
He that is evil to himself,
How do you be evil to himself? Let's not necessarily talk about you cutting yourself, bro. You're evil to yourself. You don't read. You don't take care of your spirit. You're not evaluating and examining the things that you want to change in your life. You're tormenting yourself through these spirits you let dwell in your vessel. You never want to confront the demon that's antagonizing you and overtaking you, right, for months at a time. You're just evil to yourself. You know?
to whom will he be good?
How can your works be manifest and the Lord use you as a vessel, right? If you're evil to your soul. So the first and foremost, my brothers are going to, is the examination. So you yourself can be as pure as you can, so the Lord can use you.
That's right. That's right. Let's go to the book of Galatians.
Let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 2,
And we can start at verse number 18.
Galatians chapter 2 and verse
start at 17.
number 17. But if we seek to be justified by Hamashiach, we ourselves also are found sinners. Is therefore Hamashiach the minister of sin? God forbid.
Right, so we're in this flesh, we believe in Yahushua, we're still going to sin. Is that a reason to willfully sin? God forbid. Right, Yahushua's not teaching us to sin, because we're under grace, read on.
For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor.
Read that again.
For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor.
You cannot build again the things that you destroyed. What did you destroy? The old man, the old you, the weed smoker, the Sabbath breaker, the fornicator, the drunkard, the reviler, the robber, the nigger, the demon. You destroyed that man, man. Gave him a flawless victory, man. Fatality, man. Who are you to go back and dig that man up out the grave? Some people miss that man. You know? You miss those conversations with the old man. And you dig that man up, just like so-called the Dr. Frankenstein, huh? And you build him all together, man. Say he's alive and he lives. And you let that old man wreak havoc in the earth. You cannot build again the things that you destroy. Let's go to the book of Second Chronicles. Right, I want to get this real quick. Let's go to Second Chronicles, chapter 33, and verse number. Let's start at verse number. I'm just getting to 2.
Second Chronicles chapter 33 and verse number 2. But
See, let's start with the context.
verse 1. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem.
Right, 55 years. Right, go.
But did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel.
Right, he set up idols. Hey, this guy was on, man. Made his son pass through the fire, witchcraft, enchantments, and sorcery, and murder. Right, he did many awful things. Read on.
For he built again the high places, which Hezekiah, his father, had broken down, and he reared up altars for Balaam, and made groves and worshiped all the hosts of heaven and served them.
So he built again. This links up with Galatians 2 and 18. See, in Galatians 2 and 18, let's talk about the old man, right? On a spiritual level, you break down, you kill, you can't build it back up. Then you got brothers that go behind you, and again, like you work construction. And imagine you do a demolition project, somebody behind you building everything back up. Here you are breaking everything down, and somebody coming and building stuff up.
You moving stuff out the house, somebody taking the stuff off the U-Haul, sneaking it back in the back door, bro. That's madness, bro. You thought that the U-Haul getting loaded up, and it's a guy coming around and bringing the stuff back in the house, bro. That's confusion and madness, bro. Right? So the Most High is telling you that Manasseh was the type of individual that would build again the things that were destroyed, right? And Hezekiah was a righteous man, a righteous king, and he went out of his way to pull down all of the stumbling blocks and snares for the children of Israel. Right? You have men that come up, and again, they love to build up the things that are destroyed. And brothers have to love destruction, right? See, and we're men of war. Right? And war, Most High says, see nothing alive that breathes, right? He said, totally annihilate the Canaanites, make no covenant with them, burn their altars. Let me get that real quick in Deuteronomy 7. That's how brothers got to think about the old you, You have to utterly annihilate and not save anything alive that breathes. How can the Most High say utterly annihilate everything, even the animals? Why? You said what? To prove everything, but what else? It's part of their works. It's part of their works. How would their works affect the Israelites?
Stay in sin.
You said what? Cause them to stay in sin. It's something about. So the Lord said, destroy everything. Don't leave no chase. Deuteronomy 7:2. Quick reason.
God. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 2. And the Lord thy God shall deliver thee before thee. Thou shalt smite and utterly destroy them.
No, God to destroy them.
And utterly destroy them.
Have you utterly destroyed the old man? Or you kind of destroyed the old man? Right? Read on.
And utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
And for what to utterly destroy something, like damn, right? What the hell happened, bro? And you annihilated, utterly destroyed them, obliterated, like the brother said, right? He said, the Lord said, utterly destroyed them. That's not a word that Jay used, bro. And the brother said, I utterly destroyed the old man, and that's beautiful, bro. Right? Read on, okay?
Nor shew mercy unto them.
And nor what?
Nor shew mercy unto them.
Yeah, the Lord said, to help that is afflicted, mercy shall be shown to his friend, paraphrasing the book of Job. You're not supposed to show mercy to the old man. There's no mercy to the old man. Everybody don't get mercy, huh? The old man is the worst enemy. He's worse than the Edomite. Right? The old man is worse than the so-called Jew, huh? So the old man, because he's the, he just come anywhere, huh? He knows where you live at, huh? He knows when you sleep, huh? You don't need AI, man, to get into your phone, huh? So you gotta find this old man, or he's gonna find you. Read on, me 2 more.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them, thy daughter, thou thy kid unto.
Let's settle that. So the point is, you can't show any mercy to the old man, right? Things that are destroyed, let them remain destroyed, God. Things that are taken down and broken down, let them be broken down. The Most High, he won't build a Babylon and bring it again, God. Right? The Most High is not going to build up the Edomites after they exterminated, God. A lot of brothers can't live without the past, God. And that's anything, even old relationships. I just need closure. I just need to call. It's been 4 years. I need closure. What do you need closure for, brother? Let it go. It's your story, brother. It's just a piece of me. I just have to leave. And they got these shows. They sit down in these rooms, man. They sit out there. Other brothers see that they sit in this white room. Right? They be the dude, they be the sister, and they be sitting. Brother, see that? And they be sitting down talking. I just want to know why you cheated on me back in 2016. Well, it's 2025, man. She got a damn ring on her finger. She got 4 kids, and you want to know what? Let it go, man. Brothers have a hard time letting stuff go, man. Right? So the Most High is commanding you to, again, let it go. Right?
It's a video that went viral too on that same topic. A man dropped his fiance off to her ex-boyfriend so she could get close. She come back in the car crying, balling out.
Yes,
right? It's madness. But destroying and annihilating and obliterating that old man, that's that whole allegory of the book we had to read in school called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? He drank that potion and turned into a whole different creature, and then he come back to like, what did I do? Right? That's what happens when the old man comes back. Right? You sit back, man, I can't believe I just did that. What was I thinking? I know better than that. But it's because you entertained those demons, man. You let those demons come and corrupt your mind and corrupt your good manners and communication, and you turn back into that old so-and-so.
Yeah, it's like that reminds me of Two-Face from Batman. Yeah, you got both of the Two-Face, man. Right? They have the soul, then the other half they're the old man.
Right, flipping the coin. Should I do this or should I do that?
Right.
Now let's go to Judges chapter 21 and verse 25. And the problem is,
Yeah, I was about to say, you linger during the week, and then Zachariah on the Sabbath day.
Right. But the problem is, judgment doesn't come out swift enough for Israel to be scared. Right? Israel isn't scared of the Most High until they actually see the judgment. Right? And that's the problem. Right? If judgment was executed expediently, when people went off, I guarantee everybody walking on pins and needles, man. But that's the mind we gotta have, man. We don't know the thoughts of the Most High. His thoughts are not our thoughts. We don't know what judgment can come. We don't know when the Most High sent somebody else to exact judgment on us. So we have to be perfect in His sight. We have to kill that old man daily. We can't entertain that old man because that old man is gonna win 10 times out of 10. Right? You know that card? It's called 3-card bunch. Right? You be out there playing them outside of casinos or sport events, 3 cards, they shuffle them, they let you win. Maybe 2 or 3 times, and then you bet more money, they take it. That's the old man. You keep playing that 3-card bunch, you're gonna lose. Right. You're gonna lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but when are you gonna lose? And when you lose, it's gonna be way more detrimental than it is profitable. Right, let's bring that up, okay?
The book of Judges, chapter 21 and verse 25. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
So since there's no king in Israel now, everybody does what's right in their own mind, right? They're righteous in their own mind. They justify their own thoughts. They justify their own actions. They justify the wickedness that they do, and they evaluate it compared to the next man. Well, this person got away with this. Surely the Lord will give me that task. Surely the Lord will be merciful towards me because he did the same thing and he's still here. No, you have to be straight and narrow as fervent as you can in these last days, man. Right, like the brother, we always make sports analogy, man. Right, we grew up playing sports. Right, when that final time to get that cut, you go and look at that sheet. The Lord, the coach is looking at who's hustling, who's diving for the ball in practice, who's taking charges, your defensive slides, your chest pads, right? He's fine-tuning everything so you can make that roster. The Lord is doing the same thing in these last days. He's fine-tuning and seeing who's really applying the precepts, who's taking the time to examine and getting themselves in order, spiritual shape for the day of judgment. Let's go to Romans chapter 8, and verse number 3. So because there's no king, we have to go 10 times harder to magnify our king, the one who gave his life for us, right? Knowing that we can't be perfect according to the law. We're going to fall short 1,000 times, right? Until we get to the kingdom of heaven. But that's why the Most High gave us Yahweh Shai. So we have an advocate. So we have the opportunity to perfect that which has been perfected. Right? Keep going.
Romans 8 verse 3. Right? For what the law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh, Yahweh sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
Right? So we don't have the ability to bring forth offerings into the priesthood right now. Right? That's why the Lord gave up the ghost for us, so that we can be perfect and do the things we ought to do. Right? Keep going, King.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
So that's the righteousness of the law. Right? You walk in after the spirit, man. Right? The flesh is gonna eventually give out. Right? The beautiful ain't gonna be beautiful forever, right? The most in shape ain't gonna be the most in shape forever. Those without blemishes are gonna end up getting blemishes as they age, right? So if you're walking after the flesh, you're gonna get the same correctness that comes with the flesh, right? Like they say, I got skin like a newborn baby, right? Look at that baby a year later, man. They got scratches and bruises, right? All different type of ailments and things happen to that baby. That's the same thing that happens to the man who continues to move in the spirit of the flesh, right? Keep on, kid.
That the righteousness of the Lord might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
That goes back to what the brother Ryan was saying. For 6 days out the week, you living, right? You minding the things after the flesh, right? How much can you drink before you gonna get pulled over and get a DUI, right? How many blunts can you smoke before you can't stand up no more, right? How many numbers can I get when I go to this place, right? You mind the things of the flesh. With those of the spirit, you're always watching, right? You're hiding yourself from the evil. You're making sure you're moving in the spirit of the Lord. You're making sure that you're presented acceptable just in case you run into another brother in the truth, right? Two more breaks up here.
For to be carnally minded is death.
For what?
For to be carnally minded is death.
So if you thinking with the wrong head, you're gonna die, man. Right? We talked about this at camp yesterday, man. All these diseases and sexual diseases that are coming out, man. This isn't just happening for no reason. The Lord is plaguing the earth, man. Right? 20,000 new cases of HIV a day in Georgia, Atlanta. Imagine here in Baltimore when it's so small, everybody know everybody. Right? It's so dangerous. If you think carnally minded, you're gonna die. Right?
But to be spiritually minded is life and peace, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be.
So the carnal mind is an enemy to the Lord. It can't be subject to the mind of Yahweh Shem Shah. Right? The mind of Yahweh Shem Shah is presented to us in this holy Bible right here. Right? So if you're being an enemy to the Lord, you're not going to attain these things. That's why you forget precepts. That's why you forget how to keep our holy days. That's why you forget the names of our kings. That's why you forget all the things that you learned in time past, and the works of the flesh are being made more manifest in the day-to-day life that you walk.
That's right. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, and verse number 3. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, and verse number 3.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, and verse number 3. And for a while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins.
A lot of people, they lay hid in comfortability in their secret sins. The old nugget, the old man, just who you want to be, you lay secret, right? Like from going into the middle of the week, man, God knows who you really are, man. God knows what you're really into. What type of damn covetous, lascivious act you into, man? Who you talking to? Right? All of these things going to bear witness to the fruit that the Lord's going to show in the latter day. Right? We know
They were scattered under a dark veil.
that's why a lot of people can't grow in this truth too, because they got a veil over them, huh? They can't grow to the amount of knowledge they want. They can't increase. They're always lacking in some area. A brother been in the truth that 5 years, still trying to break down what the Passover is about. You're not growing in this thing, man. You're planted in a garden, but you're always around the thistles and the thorns. Right? Read that part again.
For a while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins. They were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange aberrations.
For a brother get trouble with strange aberrations, man, and spirits, illusions, overthrowing your mind, your spirit, your soul, giving you all type of double mentalities, and double-minded, you're lost. Right now, these were the Egyptians, but through the spirit, it goes to the wicked. Because the wicked is in darkness, the wicked is lost. And the wicked are under that same dark veil until they get the light of Yahweh. Jump to verse number 8. 8.
Verse 8. For they that promise to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear,
Right, to fear,
worthy to be laughed at.
worthy to be laughed at. Huh? Lord said all them that begin to paraphrase greatly, that begin to build, mock, and laugh at him. Huh? This was a man that began to build but was not able to finish. And people will laugh at you. Right? You came in this truth, you got your fringes, you repented, you did the works of the Most High, now you went back to going to the club. Right? People wax worse when they leave this truth. Right? For brothers that were at camp yesterday, it was a brother, he came out, he got the word, he said he used to watch us, but then once his sin started to get brought to light of drinking, that brother said, "What's too many contradictions? There's too much of this." And then he fled back into darkness. Through his comfortability, right? Because the brothers love the darkness, right? The Lord said, "This is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world. Men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil." Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles, 29 and verse, let's start at 15.
Second Chronicles.
To the topic of this live, brothers have to break down the old man. Get rid of it.
Second Chronicles 29 and verse number 15. And they gathered their brethren and sanctified themselves and came according to the commandment of the king.
Right, it's spiritual because you got to gather up your brothers. It's not just about you. The Lord said, "When thou art converted, strengthen thy brother." Now, you got to help brothers. Brothers are lacking and sick. They're coughing spiritually. Their mind isn't right. They got troubles in the world. Right, so they gather up the brother for the commandment of the king. Read on.
By the word of the Lord, to cleanse the house of the Lord.
Go to play music in it.
To cleanse the house of the Lord.
Just the feast in it.
To cleanse the house of the Lord.
To cleanse the house of the Lord. Right? That's what this thing is about. Now, yes, this is physical, but it's also spiritual. Right? It'll be physical when we clean the house of the Lord, but we spiritually cleanse the house of the Lord. We make up the body of the Lord. Right, you know?
And the priest went into the inner part of the house of the Lord to cleanse it, and brought out all the uncleanness that they found in the temple into the court of the house of the Lord, and the Levites took it to carry it out abroad into the brook Kidron.
Right, that's where they burn things with fire, man, in that location. So they would bring out all uncleanness to the brook and they would burn, man. And that's how you gotta have that same mentality, to burn all uncleanness, right? You know?
Now they began on the first day of the first month to sanctify, and on the 8th day of the month came they to the porch of the Lord. So they sanctified the house.
They sanctified the house
of the Lord in 8 days. And in the 16th day of the first month, they made it end.
Right, that's beautiful because it was entering into the Passover. And they were cleansing themselves to get their mind right for the high holy days to come and the spiritual of the being. So brothers got to really remove all of this leaven, this wickedness, this double mentality, and really go into the inner courts, the inner parts, and find all uncleanness and burn it with fire.
You know, that's God. Let's go to the book of 2 Kings, chapter 20. Right at verse, we start at verse number 1, and then jump down to verse 4.
2 Kings, chapter 20, and verse number 1. In those days, when Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him, "Thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live."
Right, come on, right? And that's also spiritual, right? Because all of us was once sick unto death, right? All of us was in this world, right? Right, the decrepit, the decayed spiritually, right? Full of wickedness, right? Okay, right? So they run into the service of the Lord, right? Which let us know, right? It's repent and let's be down, right? Jump on the verse number 4.
Verse number 4. And it came to pass, after Isaiah was gone out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, "Turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears, behold, I will heal thee on the 3rd day, thou shalt go up into the house of the Lord."
Right, God. right? Behold, I will heal thee, right? And the Lord has healed many men, right? By taking off that old bill, right? That old garment, right? That we once had, right? Taking away that old understanding and bring us into this truth, right? But also, let's go to the book, right? Second Chronicles, chapter 32, and I saw that verse 24. Right, but also, right, once the Lord heals you, and you can't go back and put back on that field, right? Right, you can't go back, right, and try to mix damn team, man, right, with a German, right? You have a so-called Negro, right, but you have righteous, right? Let's read that on 2 Chronicles 32 and 24.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, and verse number 24. In those days, Hezekiah was sick to the death, and prayed unto the Lord, and he spake unto him, and he gave him a sign. But Hezekiah rendered not again according to the benefit done unto him, for his heart was lifted up.
For what?
For his heart was lifted up. Read. Therefore, there was wrath upon him and upon Judah and Jerusalem.
Right, now there's wrath being lifted up, right? You know, and certain brothers, they wonder why your household is out of order, there's chaos, right? There's madness going on, right? Because you render not the things that the Lord had done unto you, right? Or the Lord healed you, right? Or the Lord took the spirits off, or the Lord brought you around, or the counsel, or for understanding, or but through the cry of your heart, right? And instead of seeking as the brother said, right, seeking the safety net, right? You went and in the dark, right, where it was dark at night, right, took that creepy shovel and started digging up that old mine, right, and laying up, right? They call that necrophilia, right? You can't just go and just be in love with the old man and it's all, right? Right. Jump down to verse number 30, 29.
2 Chronicles, chapter 32, and verse number 29. Moreover, he provided his cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for Yahweh had given him substance very much.
Right, calm, right? So, and the Most High, he gives us many things, man. Right, different talents and gifts, right? The gift and the spirit of prophecy, right? The gift to have tongues, right? Okay, right? To be apostles, right? To travel through the work, right? To understand the laws thereof, to understand the mysteries, to be teachers thereof, right? Many substances, you know.
Moreover, he provided him cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for Yahweh had given him substance very much. This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper water course of Gideon and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David. And Hezekiah prospered in all his works. Right? Howbeit, in the business of the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, who sent unto him to inquire of the wonder that was done in the land, Yahweh left him to try him.
Read that part again.
Yahweh left him to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart.
Right, calm. That's why if you're going and back dealing with that old man, right, and you're forsaking the Lord, and the Lord, he don't leave, right, try and give you over to those secrets and dark desires of whatsoever your heart or mind is made up of. Right, but that was that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's the point you made earlier through the spirit when it was written. It says in 26 that he humbled himself in that pride. But then the Lord came back and tried him again. So he showed all of those wonders to Gabar's point. That was that spirit that was still inside of him, right? That spirit of pride was in him. Then he exposed everything that he saw. I mean, that everything that he had to the Babylonians. So the Lord would do that, He'll bring wrath, like the brother said, then you'll humble yourself, then he'll say, let me see if this brother is really in a sincere spirit. Right? He'll try you, like the brother said. Let's go to the book of Leviticus, right? Chapter 22 and 22. Right? Since we're dealing with not only destruction, but also incompletion. Right? Leviticus 22 and 22.
Leviticus chapter 22 and verse number 22. Why or root or maiden or having a whip, or scurvy, or scab, ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto the Lord.
These are sacrifices. You couldn't offer a lamb that was torn, scabbed, beaten, one leg, one eye. It had to be without blemish. Come, read on.
Either a bullock or a lamb that had anything superfluous,
Even if it was superfluous, even if your lamb, your lamb had 5 legs. You might say, we got 4, we just got 1 bonus. It's not good enough. No, huh? It gotta be perfect, huh? But we don't have 3, you got extra one. It doesn't matter, brother. Right? The lamb got 3 eyes. It doesn't make it better because he has extra. Extra is not always better. And there's a saying that says less is more. So you're supposed to have the perfect amount that the Most High told you to offer, huh? You can't offer anything superfluous, right? That's like you going out there and teaching, but you're doing it in vanity, right? That's superfluous, man. You're talking to a 15-year-old using, 10-syllable words, man. That's a superfluous offer, right? You're trying to sound, you're going to the Revelation, like, brother, I know you're 15, but who's the 12 feathers? Right? Hold the around between. Actually, matter of fact, drop that. That's wicked, man. That's a superfluous offer. So whatever you offer to the Most High has to be according to perfection. Read on.
have anything superfluous, or lack in his parts,
Or what?
or lacking in his parts.
It can't be lacking. We were to offer to the Most High. The Lord said, present your body as a what? A living sacrifice. Read on.
That mayest thou offer a free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted.
Read on.
Ye shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised, or crushed, or broken, or cut. Neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land.
So the law teaches you, man, about a balance. It teaches you not to offer up anything that's incomplete, anything that's lacking. Remember, Yahushua said that we're going to be presented as a bride, having neither spot nor wrinkle. So the Lord's perfected us. We have to constantly perfect ourselves to the point of the lesson, and the things that are incomplete, those things have to be strengthened. Go to Psalm of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse number 2. Psalm of Solomon, chapter 5, and 2.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse number 2. I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh, saying, open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled. For my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night.
This is speaking about a brother coming to the truth. Right? You were asleep. We were all asleep in the world. Right? We were all dead in our sins. Right? Now the Most High said, I sleep, but my heart awake, meaning your mind is awake. The word mind the word heart in the Hebrew is Bob, which means your mind. Right? So it's not your actual heart that wakes up, it's your mind that's quick. Right? Through the spirit of the Most High. Right? And what wakes you up? Read on King. It says, I sleep in my heart waketh. It is the voice.
So I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh, saying, open to me.
Right, that's the precepts coming out. That comes by the prophets, through the videos, through the lessons, through the teachings. It's not actually how we start coming in. Right? Waiting and hold on, I'll get there. There's gonna be a ring camera, the Lord, you get an alert, go, no, huh? The Lord ain't on your ring camera, man. When the sound go off, when you get down there, it's the spirit of the Most High knocking at your door. The door represents the access to your mind and to your spirit. Read on.
My sister, my love, my dove,
Right, because we're the bride of Yahushua.
my undefiled.
We're the pure, we're the innocent.
For my head is filled with dew.
The Most High is coming into our vessels with water, with moisture, with dew. Right? As we're dry vessels, He's here to saturate us, right? And to give us moisture and water. Read on.
And my locks with the drops of the night.
Right, let the Lord in. A lot of brothers, man, the brother came to y'all soaking wet. You tell brothers, stay outside, man. The Lord, let the Lord in, man. It's okay to get for the Lord to leave a puddle, huh? For the Lord to be in your vessel full of moisture and water. You need that, huh? He's not normal man. He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But he's coming to give you living water. Read on.
I had put off my coat. How shall I put it on? I had washed my feet. How shall I defile?
Right, then I came to the truth. I'm never going back. Right. That's what it's saying. I put off my coat and he put off the old man. How can I put it back on? I washed my feet with what? With the word of the Most High. My steps are now pure and my path is clean. There's no way I can go track back in the mud, man. A lot of brothers say that, man. And that's a confident, bold statement, man. I ain't never going off again. Let's see what happens.
My beloved put in his head by the hole of the door, and my vows were moved for him.
So now the Spirit wants to resonate and teach and suck this man again. Right? Go on.
I rose up to open to my beloved.
I did what?
I rose up to open to my beloved.
That's like the brother, he wants to read. Right? The Spirit draws him to read or to study or to do the work. So that's him rising up to deal with Yahushua. Right? He wants to pray to the Most High. That's him arise for his beloved. Read on.
And my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet smelling myrrh upon the handles of the block.
Read.
I opened to my beloved.
Did what?
I opened to my beloved.
But what happened?
But my beloved had withdrawn himself and was gone.
Read.
My soul fell when he spake. I sought him.
I did what?
I sought him.
Why?
But I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer.
Why wouldn't the Lord give you any answer? It's somewhat, but that's not the answer.
Going back to your own self.
Going back to your old self, man. Go to John 9:31. Put back on that old coat. Put back on the old man. Right? Read John 9:31.
St. John, chapter 9 and verse number 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any be a worshiper of God and doeth his will, him he heareth.
That's what the Lord is going to hear, man. There is a reason why if you call him for the Most High, he's not answering. You need to examine yourself, man. Didn't it happen to Saul? The Lord didn't visit Saul by dreams or by Urim or by prophets. It was over, man. He sought the Lord. Even asked Samuel, worship with me, man. So many men, they go off, they go to the old man, they want to seek the Most High again, and the Most High is not dealing with you at that point, huh? Right? It's easy to say I put off the coat, I never put it back on. Right? I took off, I washed my feet, and I never to follow my path again. But then you go right back to who he was, huh? Right? It says, I sought him, but I could not find him. One more, Proverbs 1, a precept of that, Proverbs, the classic. 1, I believe, 26. Right? Now, I sought him, but I could not find him.
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 24. And verse 24. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regard.
Chapter 28.
Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not
And it's
answer.
the same spirit, huh? Because you despise correction. You despise reproof. You went back and built up the old man. They shall call, this is the same man. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. Read on.
They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me.
Same thing as Psalm 7. Read that last part again. I saw him, 5 and 6.
Psalm 7, 5 and 6. Back in Psalm chapter 5 and verse number 6.
Read that part again. I saw him.
It reads, I sought him, but I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer.
That's the same thing, right? Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. So this is the life cycle of a brother that comes to the knowledge. He repents, he puts off the old man, then he goes back to the old man.
Then he tries to seek the Lord again when you read the 6th chapter, right? Tell me where I can find my beloved. And the Lord tell you where to find him, right? You know, so this thing is spiritual, right? It goes to the ups and downs of being in his knowledge. Because we all have fallen short. Huh? I don't know one brother that came to the truth and they've never fallen short. If any brother came to the truth and said, I never fell short, and that's a damn lie, man. You need to mark that man and watch that man. Right? So we all fall short. This is the lifestyle, and the Lord is showing us the cycle of how you come into this truth. You come into the knowledge, you wake up, you're happy, you have that sweetness, and I'll never go off, I'm never going to put off the old, I'm an Israelite. Then you get tried, you get tested, you call for the Lord leads you. And then you go back, and then you seek the Most High again. Right? To tell you that, you may not get it, but in the 6th chapter, he begins to seek the Lord all over again. Actually, let's just get that for sake of time. 6:1. Just read down. Song of
Solomon, chapter 6, verse 1. Well, there is thy beloved God, O thou fairest among women. Well, there is thy beloved, turn aside, that we may seek him with thee.
And I ain't seeking the Lord again. Right? You read about the latter of the 5th chapter, he get approved by the watchman. The watchman check him out and say, you going off. That's why you can't find the Lord, right? So the watchman, their job is to remove that darkness from you to help you find the Lord all over again.
God. And that's why in wisdom of Solomon, the 1st chapter, it says that you're a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter. Right? Because you got ill doings, man. Let's get that in Micah chapter 3. Start at verse number 1. Right? You got ill doings in the things that you're doing, man. Right? You get lost into the marvelous light that Yahweh shall shine. That old man will keep creeping in. Like we were saying earlier, right? We keep entertaining, right? You know how back in the day, the little sisters used to play double dutch, right? Like you waiting to jump in, you going back and forth, right? You waiting to jump in, right? And the Lord sees your action. He weighs the balance in your heart before your own eyes, right?
One quick point. They uncomfortable until they get into that double dutch. And once they get in it, they got songs, they dancing, they do anything.
Right, you know?
Micah chapter 3, verse 1. And I said, here I pray, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment?
Right, so the Lord gave us the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments.
Right.
So we know these judgments and actions, man. We know the repercussions, the consequences. Right, the Most High has opened up our eyes so we can understand it. Right, keep going, King.
Who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them, and their blood from all their bones.
Right, and those are the people who come into the truth and hang holier than thou. But deep down inside, you more wicked than the person trying to kill him. You still eat pork? You should know that. And this man done ran through 4 different wives in one day. Right? And people are they're free.
Who also eat the blood of my people,
Right?
and fillet their skin from all them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces, as for the pot, and as blood within the cauldron.
So they hold high standards so high that they can't even meet them, man. That's a wicked man. Right? That's the man who says, I have no iniquity. I have no sin. Right? What can you charge me with? I'm perfect. Right? What the Lord said.
Then shall they cry unto the Lord, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings.
So the Lord is going to hide his face from you because you behaved ill in your doings. Right? You was a hypocrite in the sight of men. Right? You did what was pleasing in your own eyes. You went out the way of understanding. Right? And the Lord just going to cast you into utter darkness, man. You're going to get the same judgment as an Edomite, man. Right? You might as well be Esau, man. What did it do? What did it do to Esau because you didn't conform to the way Yahweh shines? But what is is perfect? All belief in his only begotten Son who gave us, that right to come back into the Most High. Right, let's go to 1 John chapter 4, go to verse 2. That's what makes us whole. That's what makes us perfect, right? Your faith in Yahweh shall shine. knowing that you'll be a joint heir with your outside the kingdom, if you do what is pleasing in his sight, right? If you don't go straight like a lost sheep. Yes, the Lord is going to go and get his sheep, but sometimes them sheep get them out, right? You don't think there's serpents out there and wolves and lions and bears waiting to have an easy snap, right? The lane's not going to fill you up for days, man. Got to get you through for maybe another day until another land goes astray, right? Satan is going to and fro waiting. Where did we get up here?
For example, to the 4th verse 2. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yahweh is come in the flesh is of Yahweh.
So if you confess that Yahweh came in the flesh of the Lord, that's what makes us whole. That's what gives us that motivation to keep going. That our brother who's in the world overcame, and that is waiting for us at our latter end. Right? That's what should put joy in your heart, man. That's what should make you want to stand up and go on the highway and byways. Knowing that it's not impossible to defeat and complete the feats that Yahweh did. Right? Keep on getting.
And every spirit that confesses not that Yahweh is come in the flesh is not God, and that this is the spirit of antichrist.
So even those who confess not, that's the spirit of antichrist. Right? How do you confess that Yahweh never came? By your actions, by going back into the world, right? By letting that old man live. You're essentially saying Yahweh never lived. He never did the miracles that they say he did. He never went to the grave for 3 days and rose on the 3rd day, right? By your actions, you show that you're an antichrist. By your actions, you show that you hate Yahweh. Right? Finish it okay? Oh, shut
Now, whereof ye have heard that it shall come, and even now already is it in the world.
Right, so there's no one antichrist. There's not like Damien from the Open, where he got 666 on the back of his head. Right, he was born of a Doberman picture. Right, that's not the antichrist. Antichrist is the people who don't believe in Yahweh. They don't believe on Yahweh and the works that he done. That he gave his life for us. Right? And what did the Lord say about all those who don't believe on the Lord or don't love the Lord? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 16. I believe we started 20. Let's start at 21. 1 Corinthians 16.
1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse number 21. And so actually verse 22. If any man love not the Lord, Yahweh myself, let him be the Maranatha.
Right, so if you don't love Yahweh, right, let you be a vessel fit for destruction. Right, let you be a vessel that's set up on a high branch to be pushed off and shattered in 1,000 pieces, and then stomped on again to make 1,000 more pieces. Right, that's how important it is to believe on Yahweh. That's how important it is to let your actions show that you believe on Yahweh. Right, because we always say this on the highway and byways. Love is an action. So your actions should prove how much you love Yahweh. Right? If you give your bare minimum to your wife, she's gonna give you divorce papers. Right? She's gonna give you divorce papers, and this is for the people in the world, right? She's gonna be packing your stuff up, right? But they're gonna take the crib, the car, the dog, the babies, half the bank account, and you just sit there and withdraw from the whole thing, man. Wish you that you love, you put that woman first, like Shaheed said. How much more the Lord? Right? If you put the Lord to the back burner, how much more are you gonna be destroyed? How much more is the sore punishment waiting for you? Do that, Kim.
Let's go to John, chapter 33, and verse number 27. Start at 26.
The book of Job, chapter 33, and verse number 26.
Right.
Job 33 and 26. He shall pray unto the Most High, and he will be favorable unto him.
Right. So when you go astray, you gotta pray to the Most High. That'd be hard sometimes, man. Because you feel ashamed, your sins weigh you down, you don't feel good enough, or you get in that dark space, start to feel like, well, this is my judgment, Maybe the Most High not dealing with me. Even David said, I said in my haste, I am cut off. Nevertheless, I heard the request of my lips, paraphrase break. Jeremiah thought he was cut off in the dungeon. And brothers very well in his room may have thought they were cut off through their sins and things that they go through. And you know when you feel that disconnect with the Heavenly Father, man, you know, it's certain times you don't even have to necessarily think of a precept. Your spirit is just engulfed in the love of the Lord. Man, you look at the trees, you think of the Lord. You dream, you think of the Lord. So it's like the spirit of the Lord running through you, man. Then there's sometimes too when you're not the spirit, your mind's all over the place, you're double-minded, you can't really focus. These are spirits, right, you know?
4, he will render unto man his righteousness, he looketh upon men.
Or what does that mean? What does that mean? He's going to render unto man his righteousness. Go fast, hold this. Go to Psalm chapter 18 and verse of 25. So every man is going to get rendered back his righteousness.
Psalm chapter 18 and verse,
Now it's not in 20.
and verse number 20. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, have he recompensed me.
So the Lord's going to recompense you according to your righteousness. With the merciful, he's going to show himself merciful. Right? If you're having clean hands, you're striving, you're fighting these spirits, and you're doing all you can, the Lord's going to help and uplift you. But if you're easily yielded to the request of Satan, easily to that woman, easily to the flesh, the Lord's going to give you over to a home. All right, let's go back to it in the book of Job.
Job 33 and verse number 27. He looked upon man,
You look upon man,
and he said, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not.
that's the examination, you know?
He would deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light.
His life shall see the light, huh? And brothers came out of that pit already. You have to acknowledge where you're going. And that takes a brave soul and a mind of humbleness to admit those things. That's the only way the Lord's going to deliver you out of it, huh? You know?
Lord, all these things working the Most High, oftentimes with man,
Right? This is a trick brothers deal with on the record. You know?
to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living.
Right? It says to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened. When you're enlightened, it's like you're woken up, right? You can see clearly what's going on in judgment. All right, let's go to the mighty book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 32. In the scripture, so
Sirach, chapter 20 and verse number 32. Necessary patience
necessary patience
in seeking the Lord is better than he that liveth his life without a God.
Brothers gotta be patient, huh? Right? Go to real quick Psalm chapter 106. You have to be patient and seeking the Lord. That's better than a brother that doesn't live his life without a God. Huh? And the Lord will give you over to a ruin if you can't be patient. Right? Go to the book of Psalms 106 and start at 13.
Psalm chapter 106 and verse number 13. They soon forget his works.
They so forgot the Creator. You so didn't have patience. You give yourself over to whatever you want at the moment, and you act off your instincts. They forgot his works.
They waited not for his counsel,
They waited not for his counsel.
but lusted exceedingly in the wilderness, and tempted the Most High
I think the Lord did it.
in the desert.
Right, Lord?
And he gave them their request.
So he's always going to save you.
And he gave them their request. But sent leanness into their soul.
The Lord will give you your request, huh? You want that woman so bad, go ahead and have it, huh? And then catch all the diseases of Egypt. You want money so bad, go ahead and rob your brother. Go ahead and do a lewd scheme. Go ahead yourself caught up in this world. Whatever you want so bad, the Lord will give it over to you, huh? That's why crawling out of that pit, being resurrected spiritually is so important, huh? Because once you deny the precious blood of Yahushua, right? It's like you're treading underfoot the glory and mercy of the Lord, man. Right? You read about that in the book of Hebrews. You don't have to do all these precepts, but nevertheless, it's extremely important to recognize that blood that's upon you, right? And not to take all of that thing. Let's go to classes, right? If you wind down Colossians 3 and 5. All right, that's right. Right, Colossians, the 3rd chapter. We're going to read verse number 5.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 5. Mortify therefore your members, which are upon the earth.
And mortify means to kill, right? Your members represent various sins that you have on you, right? Your arm can represent lust. This arm represents folly. You might have a leg that represents drunkenness. Your other leg represents, pride. You have to break and chop these pieces off. Read on.
Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection,
Right, fornication, that's immoral sexual acts, homosexuality, pornography, masturbation. All of this is a lasciviousness, right? Fornication is adultery, it can be bestiality, incestuous relationships, right? Outright laying with a woman and popping a woman and not marrying her. All of those are forms of fornication. Read on.
inordinate affection,
Right? That's hatred, variance, go on.
evil concupiscence.
So the Lord is saying,
Evil concupiscence.
those are evil, sexual, nasty, just filthy, disgusting, trashy, garbage, raunchy, just vile, just despicable thoughts. That's evil concupiscence, right? Fantasize about the brother's wife, right? And right, a beast and things, and you're looking at men, and I wonder, you're looking at a woman, I wonder if, it's always, I wonder if, you gotta watch that spirit, huh? Well, I wonder, you say, yeah, women, huh? Right? Well, no, it ain't no, man. Yeah, you staring at a woman, you are dressed over the eyes, and you can close that person. Yes, right? That's wickedness, man. Right? Read on, King. Hey, these are things that brothers deal with, man. You got brothers that follow little nasty pages on social media, man. Little nasty sites on TikToks, man. And then you watch and you build up your algorithm for weeks, man. And you know it's going to show you more. 3 seconds, I'm saying this 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 9. Like you figured out that algorithm, man. So they can feed you your secret fantasies. Read on, King.
And covetousness.
And what?
And covetousness.
Hey, covetousness is heavy, man. That puts brothers out, man. Job opportunities to have you sin, things your brother have, people keeping up with the drunkenness, man. Right? That kind of competitive spirit of finances and who got what, and that can take you out the truth, man. Read on.
Which is idolatry.
That's the sin. Read.
For which things sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience.
That's why people get destroyed. Read.
In the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them, but now,
But what? But now it's the new moon, huh? Right? It's the new moon. The Most High resets the phases of the moon, huh? The Most High is giving us an opportunity, but now to do what?
but now ye also put off all these anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
Right, anger is not a sin to be angry, right? We know the Lord said, be angry and what? And sin not. This anger is unwarranted anger, right? Fueled in envy, variance, folly, hasty anger, right? Anger that's not rooted in temperance or wisdom, Brother, he walk around like he always got an attitude. He always angry for no reason, right? Brother don't smile, he has no sense of humor, he can't take a joke. Brother's always on edge, man. He give you the hardest damn salute of all time, I'm just playing up, right? You gotta watch out for those brothers, man. That's anger. It also said what? Wrath.
Right?
Right, what is wrath? That's like severe anger that leads to vengeance, man. Violence. Those are brothers that cut people off on the road, man. Follow people home.
Right.
You said what?
Brick check.
We slept on the break.
Oh, he slammed on the brake. Okay, I don't know. Right, you see that? Slamming on the brakes, huh? Right? Fuck, you see that?
following people, man. Those brothers that put their hands on their wives, man. That's wickedness, man. And wives said, we found out that wives that put their hands on their husbands. That's wrath too, man. Right? You know? Malice. Right? Malice is just, it's a rapper named Malice. Wickedness, man. Evil, man. That's the name Malice.
He changed it to no malice.
No malice. All right, we see that? And but still, man, malice is a severe wrath that leads to destruction. Can't have malice. We don't care. Blasphemy. Right? Blasphemy is just anything against the word of God. Filthy communication. What the Lord say? Filthy communication. Yeah, filthy communication is breaking the scriptures down wrong, jesting, what else? Slander, backbiting, whispering, murmuring. All of that is filthy communication out of your mouth. Gossip, talebearing, idle words, speaking out of season. Read on.
Like not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds,
And here's the point, read on.
and have put on the new man.
Right, the renewed man, on the new moon. Well, it should be put on the new man. Read.
Which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
So brothers should be conformed to the image of Yahweh, not the old man. Come with that. Put that shot.
From the shop,
Put that shot.
from the shop.
Put that shot.